Hi, welcome back to Podium Pop. I'm Grace here with Celine, and we have such an exciting episode here for you today. We just went to the Mid-Ohio Indycar race, and we're going to do a full debrief on attending it, like the race, everything that we did there. I know normally we're posting first our Formula One recaps, but we are going to kind of push that back a little bit so we can talk about our experience at an IndyCar race first, so stay on the lookout if you would like to hear Formula One recap. That'll probably be out next week, so I'm sure we're going to have some silly rumors arising from that as well.
I have a feeling.
Yeah. Before we get started, you guys make sure you are following us on our socials, TikTok, Instagram. We posted a lot of content from this weekend, some really cool stuff. Keep updated with us there. We love to post there. You ready to get started?
Yep.
Let's pop the bottle and get into our race recap and experience.
That one wasn't very good.
That's okay.
I had lotion on my hands.
Oh, that probably didn't taste good.
It tasted bad.
Yeah, that's so fair.
Next time we'll see how it goes.
Maybe we should get a real bottle.
Yeah. But where's the fun in that?
That's so true. We gotta up the budget.
Yeah. IndyCar. So this was not our first IndyCar race. But it was our very first full IndyCar weekend.
Yeah.
So we did both the Indy Road Course and the Indy 500 in May, but we literally went to the race. We got, the race was starting, we got there.
Yeah.
We watched the race and then we left. So this was a very different experience. So we were there the whole weekend. We got there Friday before, practice started, and we were there until a couple hours after the race ended on Sunday. It was the full thing.
Yeah.
And before we get into the day by day, general thoughts.
I think we both agree that attending an IndyCar race, first of all, much cheaper.
Oh my gosh.
By
Absolutely.
miles.
Miles.
And much more fan accessible. And even just accessibility in general, we parked right by the paddock.
No.
And we had paddock passes so we could immediately walk in. We're not hiking miles. I do know that race day they ran out of parking, so people were parking far away, but at Miami there was no way you're parking close whatsoever.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And if you were paying thousands of dollars for an exclusive parking pass.
Or
I think in general we were not, I wouldn't say pleasantly surprised because we expected this, but we were very excited about how fan-driven IndyCar is. We already could tell that based on, again, the two races that we already went to, and just from hearing other people's experiences at it. Yeah, that's what I meant. But to experience this word, experience it firsthand ourselves.
Yeah,
was awesome. It was awesome, and it was a really good weekend, guys.
We had so much fun.
So much fun. If you follow us on TikTok, you definitely saw some of what we got up to. Follow us on Instagram. We posted a lot on our Instagram stories. We met so many friends.
Oh my gosh, immediately.
So many, we met so many of the drivers. And we got to do all of these fantastic experiences. And we did not pay that much for these tickets. Yes, we did splurge and we got pit and paddock passes.
Yeah.
But, that was, an extra, $100 on top of...
Yeah, I think so.
Which is, I mean, I can understand.
Yeah,
that is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, but...
But in comparing to, if we paid an extra $100 for our tickets at Miami, we would have moved, 2 rows up.
No, we couldn't, even do that. I feel like I was getting emails, and they were to upgrade your fan experience, do this for $500. And I was oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, there was, nothing like that. And
yeah.
And, again, to have the experience that we had in Formula One, even if we purchased, a pit and paddock pass,
I'm sorry.
it still would not be even
I couldn't even
accessible.
Dream of trying to purchase one.
Yeah, the only way that you could get the same experience in Formula One is if you knew the right person and, was,
invited.
A family friend or, a friend of someone on the team. An important person on the team, too.
Yeah.
Not just anyone. But it was so accessible. And not even just, again, the parking situation, but everywhere you could get, there was, ramps. There were, we saw a lot of people in, that were able to kind of do, wheelchairs. It wasn't a huge amount of walking to get to a lot of things. Even, once you were in, in Formula One, like, if you want to do, like, one tent and you want to do another tent, you could be walking 1 mile back and forth, you know?
Yeah.
Where, like, when we were in Miami, like, we walked so much and we did not see the whole circuit. Like, we didn't see the whole track.
Not at all.
And obviously there are, you know, different races have different kind of layouts. And
yeah, for sure.
IndyCar, or Mid-Ohio is definitely, I think, one of the better layouts for someone that didn't want to walk too far, because almost everything that was, like, worth going to was all in the infield, other than the paddock, but everything was in the infield, and you got to kind of, like, it was all clustered together. It made sense.
Yeah, it made a ton of sense. It was all close. We weren't having to go far at all, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
This was also, like, obviously people are camping and stuff are in a different experience, but from what we experienced driving into the track every day and getting to where we wanted to go, it was not hard at all.
No.
Should we start with Friday?
Absolutely.
So Friday we get there. We wanted to go to the driver's signings, which were around, like, 12:30, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think they even started late. So we left from Cincinnati and we stopped at the outlet mall.
Yeah, we had to get some shopping in.
I got a cute little dress that I wore. Celine got Crocs sandals that save her life.
Recommend.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know about my Crocs sandals? DM me, because I could talk for days about how they're the most comfortable sandals I've ever walked in my whole entire life.
That's amazing. So we get in line. We had a group that went. It was us, our friend Ryan, and then 2 of his friends. We drove, like, 2 separate cars. So we, like, met up with them. We went in and got our credentials, which was, like, a wristband and a
lanyard.
Thank you, lanyard. And then we went and got in line for the driver signings. So we're standing there. We see this huge long line, and we're like, oh man.
I know, we were like, because before it was hard to find information about the driver signings at first. Like, I looked, I couldn't find much. So we DM'd Sarah what is her name?
Offie on track.
I just call her Offie. Yeah. So we DM'd her and she was like, yes, it starts at 12:30, but definitely recommend getting in line an hour early. Mm-hmm. We were late, so we didn't get in line a whole hour early. We still were like 45 minutes before it started, though. And we finally pull in. We find the line, and we're like, oh.
It's pretty obvious where it was because there was a huge line.
Yeah. So we get there. We get in line, and it's not looking great.
No, I, like, walked up to see, because I was like, I want to make sure we're in the right spot. Like, I mean, for those of you who know, Celine wore her I Heart Pietro shirt.
Mm-hmm. I did.
So we were like, we want to make sure we're in the line that has Pietro, and obviously, like, we love Pato, and we're, like, trying to figure out which line we want to go to. And I was like, you guys, the line's so long. I was like, I can't even see the drivers up there. I don't know. So I came back and I was like, I have no clue, but, like, 20 people ahead of us, a person is holding a sign, like a fan is holding a sign that says, like, you may not get to meet on line, it's closed off type of deal. And we were like, let's wait it out.
Yeah.
We also saw a smaller line. So we were like, I don't know, we'll see. And we're waiting there, and a girl comes up to us and is like...
One of the workers.
Yeah, one of the workers. Comes up and is like, this line is so long, you guys probably won't have a chance to meet a driver in this line, but if you go to the other one, you will have a chance. And she showed us a list of, like, who was, like, what drivers were on what side. So basically there were 2 sides of them, and you picked a lane to go to. Mm-hmm. And the line that we thought we were in was Pato and Pietro's line. And we were like, oh, we're not going to meet Pato, but if we wait in this line, we wouldn't meet him anyway.
Right. It was
so
like
let's
either
switch
wait
to the other line.
Either wait in that line and maybe meet Pato and Pietro, or go to the other line and, like, for sure meet, like, Colton and, like, all these other drivers that we would, like, obviously want to meet.
Yeah, Marcus Armstrong was there. I was like, oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so we're like, well, we want to meet someone. So let's go to the other line. Like, I was like, maybe we'll meet Pietro another time. I was sad. Obviously, I had my I Heart Pietro shirt on. Like, I mean, I was fully ready to, like, tell the driver, like, hey, turn around and tap Pietro on the shoulder, because I want to wave to him at least. But I was like, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. It's fine. We'll go, and we'll still meet some of the other drivers. And
as we're waiting in line, a girl gets in line behind us, and she has, like, Pato gear on. We were, like, talking to her. We're like, we don't know what we're doing either. Like, da-da-da. Come to find out, she went to the race by herself. Amazing. We ended up being
absolute icon.
Best friends with her the whole weekend.
She's from our city.
Yeah. And we were like, how? This is so crazy. She just walked in line behind us. Like, it was so insane.
Yeah, she asked us, she's like, is this the line for Pato? And this is when we were originally in the first line.
Yeah.
And we're like, we think so, but we'll all figure this out together. We stuck with her the rest of the weekend.
We did.
Spoiler alert.
we said, sorry, you're stuck with us.
Yeah.
So we jumped ship and went to the shorter line. We get closer and closer, and I'm like,
we waited in the other shoreline. We were still waiting in line for like 40 minutes before we even started moving.
But we had fun. We had new friends. We had our friend Ryan with us. We were chatting, looking around. I look up and I'm like, oh, I see Colton. Like, finally, we can see the drivers. And then we were like, Colton wasn't supposed to be in our lane. Or Colton was supposed to be where we were going. And I was like, Colton's on the other side. I was like, the lines aren't crossing. And then we realized we are about to walk up and meet the line that has, like, Pato, Pietro, Scotty Mac was there.
The feeling I had, this was, like, the quickest and, like, most immediate way, like, everything happens for a reason, that phrase. This was, like, the perfect representation of that and the quickest representation of it. Because we were like, you know what? We were so mature about it, too. We were so mature about not being able to meet our times. We were so positive. We're like, it's okay. Like, we're still going to meet. And I do think someone was looking out for us. Like, and the look on our face.
I think the three of us gripped each other. We were like,
yeah. Because obviously Lexi's a huge Pato fan. Gracie loves Pato. I love Pietro. Like, we all looked at each other. Poor Ryan and his buddies were behind us, like, probably like, what are we, what? Yes. It's like, they're all fine. We were literally looking at each other and we're like, oh my gosh. Like, I was like freaking out. Because I fully accepted at this point in my life I wasn't going to meet Pietro at this time.
With the shirt on. Like, I was like, just, you know what? It happens.
It's okay.
And no, it happened. So get this. We're in line. Our friend Ryan has his phone ready to, like, get a quick picture of Celine and Pietro. He's in line behind Celine.
I specifically was like, take my phone. I should have just told him to record a video. But,
I know, you should have.
I was like, be ready to take pictures.
So, Lexi went in first, then I went after, and then it was Celine, and then our friend Ryan, and we get up to Pietro. And I'm like, Pietro.
I was so nervous.
And I knew you were nervous. And so I was like, I have to take the lead on this. I was like, Pietro, we have a big fan of yours. And he was like just still signing. Like, he was like, oh, cool, like, thanks. And then he looked over at Celine and goes, oh!
Like, my shirt was like, I was like, it was like doing a jazz hand. Like, I was like, well, and he, because, he looked up, he's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And at first, actually, he looked up and saw my face and was obviously making eye contact with me, and I guess it's good that he wasn't staring directly at my tits. But, like, where he'd read hi, Art Pietro, he was very gentlemanly. He didn't even notice it at first.
A gentleman.
So he stared me in the eyes. He was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. All that stuff. And then he, like, looked down and I was like, yeah, I even made this shirt for you. And then he looks up, he goes, oh my gosh!
His face was, I kept moving because the little line was moving. I wish I would have, like, watched the whole thing.
Meanwhile, I was sat. I was like, Ryan, you're going to have to wait a moment. And I was, like, trying to, like, well, then I also had a bracelet that I made for him. And I, like, was like, I made you a bracelet. And I handed it to him. My hand was shaking. He was probably like, oh, Jesus. And then I was, like, about to, like, look at Ryan and, like, kind of, like, tell him and be like, Pietro, can I please get a picture or something? Like, can I just turn around real quick? But before I even say anything, he goes, oh, my gosh, I just love your shirt. We have to take a picture. And I was like, oh, my God, so true. And I was, like, starting to, like, turn towards Ryan and be like, Ryan, let's go. Take the picture. Pietro whips out his phone. He goes, we have to take a picture right now. And then he gets, like, Kyle's attention, Kyle Kirkwood, next to him. And Kyle's like, oh, my gosh, your shirt. Like, Kyle was talking about it. And I was like, yeah.
Oh, my God, I did not know that.
Yeah, no, Kyle was, like, mentioning it, too. And he's like, awesome shirt. And then I look back at Pietro, and he's literally turned around. He took his glasses off for the photo, which was so cute. Like, I actually would have loved. He looked so cute in his glasses, so I'm like, I could have kept them on. But he took his glasses off, and he was turned around, and he was like, are you ready? And I was like, yeah, I am. So I moved my lanyard out of the way. And then I was, like, so caught up in the moment. I was like, oh my God, he just took a picture of me. Like, a picture of me is on Pietro Fittipaldi's phone. Good enough. I'm good. Finally, I'm like, okay, thank you so much. Like, I love you so much. Good luck, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, we move on. And the moments pass. And I get out, and I'm like, it's like a dream. Like, I'm, like, looking around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. And then, like, 20 minutes go on, I'm like, how the hell am I gonna get that picture?
Literally.
I was, like, so excited that he took a picture of me. And then, like, 20 minutes later, I was like, wait, but I want that picture. And so I'm like, how do I get it? And, like, I was always, like, in my head, I was like, maybe he'll post it. Like, that'd be so funny. But then even in my head, I was like, if he posts it, like, maybe it'll be, like, something, like, later or something. I don't know. I was like, I just really want that picture. So I DM'd him. He didn't respond, by the way. But I did DM him. I was like, oh, my gosh, I just took the picture. Can you please send it to me? But before I could even, like, look to see, I, like, just sent it. I forget who. Was it you? Who noticed it first?
I have no clue who noticed it first.
Maybe it was... I don't know who noticed it first. Someone in our group literally goes, oh my god, look at Pietro's Instagram story. I look at Pietro's Instagram story. It's me.
Who did notice it?
Was it me?
Was it? I think it was you. Because I think you were just
Okay, yeah. I noticed the story first.
Yeah.
So...
yes.
I look down. I see myself on Pietro's Instagram story. And I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god.
We were freaking out.
What? And so that was like, obviously I screenshot it, I shared it to my own story, all that stuff, and I was like, this can't get any better. But I guess he did eventually see my DM.
Yeah, he had to have.
And then...
Because you responded to her like, oh my god, thank you so much.
Yeah, on his Instagram stories, well, I also swiped up and was like, I just sent heart emojis on the actual story once I saw he posted it. And then that's when you noticed.
We're walking over to go get ourselves a hot dog.
Yeah, I'm like, I need some food.
I got some water. I look down, I see Pietro Fittipaldi followed you on Instagram. And I go, and I didn't want to say anything at first because I thought it could be a fake one.
Yeah.
You know, so then I click it, and I see it's his account, the blue check mark, and I go, oh my god. And then everybody's like, what? And I go, Pietro just followed us on Instagram.
We squeal like little hogs.
In front of the concession stand.
We were in the middle. It was like a bunch of food trucks in like a semicircle.
And picnic tables.
There were a bunch of these old men around just trying to enjoy their IndyCar experience. We were squealing like little girls. Like literally practically like holding hands, jumping,
I wish I
would
have like recorded your reaction, but I like had to get it out. I had to get it out.
Yeah, no, it was like, I should have, yeah.
It's okay.
There are definitely multiple times where like we could have recorded each other saying something, but no, I was like, again, I was like, this can't get any better. Also, side note, Scott Dixon is so nice.
Scott Dixon is so nice.
Some of the drivers were like, literally like, I mean, to be fair, we were near the very back of the line, so at this point they were kind of like over it. Not like rude. No one was rude at all. But they were just like, they weren't as talkative as I'm sure they were at the beginning.
Yeah.
But we got up and Scott Dixon was near the end of the line of the row that we were in. And he was like, oh, where are you all from? Or
he
like,
started a conversation with every single person.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Which I like liked Scott Dixon before, but that made me like him like even more. Like I was like, oh, I really like this guy. Mm-hmm. But anyways, yeah, back to...
No.
What else are we missing?
We walked on the line and get to Pato. And we're like, hey!
Oh my gosh.
And then our friend Lexi was with us, huge Pato fan. She was like, will you take a picture? He was on the end, so you could like kind of go stand next to him and get a picture. Mm-hmm. And then we also got a picture with Pato. And I went to him and I was like, good luck this weekend. It's going to be a good weekend. And it sure was.
Yes. No, he also definitely looked down at my shirt.
He did.
And I have a picture of him like literally like reading my shirt. Because to be fair, like when you glance at it, it could also look like I heart, Pato. But he read it and he was like, oh damn. Probably like, what the fuck?
Not me.
Not me. But he was very nice as well. He took a picture with me. We actually ran into, out of everyone, we saw Pato the most.
Yeah, we did see Pato the most. I missed him a couple times with you guys too.
Yeah, honestly. Like we saw him so many times.
Yeah.
And he was very nice every single time we saw him.
Oh my gosh, so nice.
Anything else about the drivers?
No. I think
okay, so yes. Flash forward to us squealing like little girls. He followed us. Obviously, we reposted his story, tagged him. He viewed the story, which honestly, I will say that even before he followed us, every single time we've tagged him in any Instagram story ever, he has viewed it, and it's great. Like even back in like when we were in at the drivers' parade at the Indy 500, like the actual like Legends Day parade. Like downtown, we posted the picture and he viewed that one, which I freaked out about. And now he freaking follows us. Like less than a month later, he follows us.
Insane.
It blew my mind that he viewed my story a month ago, and now he literally follows us.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. And then like it was like we ate, and then we started walking towards the paddock. And as we were walking towards the paddock,
I think we did something before that. Didn't we do trivia before that? The first round of trivia?
Yes.
So the race was sponsored by Honda. So Honda had a huge tent. They had like Sims there, a fun little photo thing, and they did trivia on Friday and Saturday, and trivia was to win. If you won the trivia, you got a lap in the pace car at the beginning of the race. Mm-hmm. So we did that Friday, and I think I made it to meet Sarah. Oh, okay. Actually, hello. We forgot. We met up with Sarah, the Paddock Princess, on TikTok and Instagram. We have been like in contact, knowing we were going. So we met up with her. We also hung out with her the whole entire weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think was Jess with us at this point too? Mm-mm. We didn't see her till after.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do trivia. We're in trivia. I think you and Lexi got out.
Lexi never did it.
Oh, Lexi never did it. Oh,
and
yeah,
I didn't even do it. I didn't
you
start
didn't?
It the first time.
Okay.
No.
So Sarah and I. Oh, that's right, because the boys got out, and I knew the answer to the question.
Mm-hmm.
And so, funnily enough, they were asking about Chip Ganassi cars, drivers, and I said, "Oh, Marcus Armstrong. Here's his jersey. I just bought it."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Okay." So Sarah and I are still in, and I go. I knew they were asking about the Chip Ganassi drivers. I go, I'm going to say Marcus Armstrong. His number's 11. Because they kept asking, like, what the driver's number was to the next person. And so we got those right. Mm-hmm. And then went back around again. I don't remember if I got the second question right or wrong. But so what happened is they were asking about Kyle Kirkwood's standings, and he was P4. But the guy, Trevor, our new BFF, had in his notes P5 in the standings, and Lexi had come back over and met up with us, and then so finally somebody got it right and was like, oh, he's P4, and Lexi goes, no, you're wrong, he's P5. So he was like, oh my gosh, what, I got it wrong. We, like, showed him the standings, so he let everybody go around and, like, try and answer another question, and then Sarah and I got out. But then that needs a preface for Saturday.
Yeah, that interaction was important.
Yeah, it was very important.
Keep in mind Lexi was so funny about it.
She was so funny about it.
Had her phone receipts out ready. She literally goes, no, that's wrong.
Yes.
According to your IndyCar official website, all this stuff. And also to preface, even before the trivia event, we had to, like, when we were lining up for the driver's signing, we lined up, the line was so long it went past the Honda tent. Everyone at Honda, fantastic team. Like, even the guy that was running, like, the little, like, video camera that, like, spun in a circle
so funny.
Was so great. He was talking to us. He's like, come on, like, let's go dance. Like, we'll dance.
We were like,
all this.
No.
Like,
I was like, I'll be back. I cannot do this right now.
But every single person that we interacted with at the Honda tent
everybody was so nice.
So genuine, so nice.
Yeah.
We randomly interacted with quite a few people there. Multiple times throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
But both of those experiences were great.
Yeah.
But the trivia interaction is important for Saturday's story.
Don't forget about it. We won't let you.
We'll circle back. So then we are walking from the Honda tent trivia to the paddock. Mm-hmm. And as we're walking by, two guys literally go and like kind of like talk to us, and they're like, oh, like, we're so glad you called him out about that trivia question, because they were like a couple booths away, but they were like here. It was over a microphone, so everyone heard it. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, we were back here being like, no, that's wrong too, so I'm glad you called him out or whatever. And then we were talking, and then one of the guys turns to me, he goes, I just saw you on Pietro's Twitter. And I go, what? Because I knew about Instagram, I didn't know about Twitter. He's like, yeah, you're on his Twitter too. Sure enough, yeah, Pietro posted me on his Twitter as well. Again, can't get over that.
Also, come to find, those guys we talked to, our friend Ryan's friends knew who they were. It was an IndyCar, like, YouTuber, and we were like, why didn't you tell us?
I know, we walked away. We were fully like, okay, we're walking up this hill. They walked the opposite direction. We were kind of far away, and Ryan's friend goes, yeah, that's crazy that, I got to meet him. I love his content. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, he's like a really successful IndyCar YouTuber. I was like, Patrick, why didn't you tell us this before?
Do you not know we have a podcast?
We were trying to network here. We were like, oh my god, we would love to like talk to them more.
Yeah. Also, they were so nice too, because they were like, oh, where are you from? We're like, Cincinnati. Like, oh, like the Reds.
So
we were talking
friendly.
about. I was like, I'm a Bengals fan. And he goes, oof. And then we were like, oh, are you a Colts fan?
Because I think they're from Indy, right?
Yeah, they're from Indy.
But they were talking to us, and they introduced themselves. They're like, yeah, we'll see you around. We'll be here all weekend, which we didn't see them again that I know of.
I don't know.
But they were so nice. We need to figure out who that was and do some research.
We met so many people could not remember everybody's name.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it was awesome.
Yeah. So we go to the paddock, we walk around a bit, we watch practice, and then it started pouring rain. Mm-hmm. And
another thing to note, as again, when we were in line, or when we were walking through the pit watching practice, we also ran into two other girls who, Ella and Kira, who also make IndyCar. I think they make content, right? They have IndyCar like Instagrams, and they go to some different races, I think. But one of them was like, I saw you on Pietro's story. Yes. Did you freak out? I was like, I freaked out so much. Like, it was just like people were like recognizing me from being posted on Pietro's Instagram story, which granted, like, Pietro's not one of the drivers that I think everyone follows on Instagram, but like enough people noticed, and it was like the shirt was recognizable. It was making a statement.
It was
at Mid-Ohio.
Then we watched practice. It started raining, and there were a few just kind of issues that, I mean, that was the very first second practice, first practice. I'm still testing out the hybrid stuff.
Yeah.
So then it started raining. We had kind of walked under like the tower, the awning, and we were like, it's gonna rain again. It's gonna rain for the whole hour.
Which I will say, even before it's like, so this was our very first like pit and paddock experience at anything we've gone to, and you have to walk through the paddock to get to the pit.
Oh yeah.
It was such a crazy experience. Like,
it was insane.
Knowing, like, walking through and just having, like, cars in the garages, like, it feels like you're not supposed to be there. Like, I kept, like, being like, am I allowed to go this way or am I allowed to go that way? And then by the end, like, by Sunday, I was like, if I'm not supposed to be there, someone will turn me around. Like, I was just going at that point. But, like, it was such a crazy experience because, again, we're newer to IndyCar. We are learning IndyCar, and we only see, like, what, our more of our experiences with Formula One, like, not necessarily in person, but just knowledge of Formula One, and, like, that would not fly in Formula One. So, like, it was like, it's crazy.
We were standing, for that first practice, you and Ryan went down to Pietro's spot, but Lexi and I were standing right at Pado's, and I was, like, I was, like, leaning up against something that was, like, right behind his team, and they all have, like, the tents and the, screens over them, so obviously other teams don't see their data and stuff, but, like, we were sitting there, and I was like, I can see their whole entire computer lit up right now, like, and then as it started raining, one of the guys came out of the tent and pulled down, like, the water
he was like,
protectors, and we were, like, getting rained on, and we were like, and he was like, sorry, girls, and we were, like, obviously not saying sorry, he was like, sorry, we're getting wet.
Yeah.
And we were like, have a good day, and then, it started raining too much, so we kind of walked away.
Yeah, no, but the pit, it's really cool because obviously you have all the drivers there. And me and our friend Ryan went down, again, towards Pietro's. He was all the way at, like, the beginning of the pit entrance. But you could literally walk all the way to the end of the pit and see perfectly where cars come in. And it was so cool. You can literally, like, watch them come in. We were right at the very end was the new driver, Toby's, like, pit station, and we would literally see him come in and watch. We would just watch the pit stops, because a lot of the teams had, like, kind of, like, taller, like, just, like, gear, I guess, to where you couldn't see, like, fully, but because he was at the end, you could kind of peek around that side, and you saw, like, the pit stop perfectly. It was so cool being so close to it.
Yeah. They're like, oh, God.
Well,
I would say it's, like, their pit wall that was, like, kind of blocking the whole view. But, like, if you were higher up or to the side of it, you could see the cars pulling pretty perfectly.
Yeah, and it was just such a cool experience being so close. And also, I will say Friday was a cooler experience to be in the pit because not as many people were there for Friday. Like, Saturday and Sunday was much more busy during, like, qualifying and, like, the morning before the race day. But Friday was very cool because of that reason. So, again, it starts raining pretty heavily. And we kind of congregate, me, Gracie, Ryan, and Lexi kind of get together, and we're like, maybe we kind of split ways, meet up again tomorrow. Yeah. So Ryan goes to meet with his friends who are watching, I think, Indy Next or something, watching something else. He meets up with them there, and then Lexi heads back because her hotel's a bit farther away from us, and me and Gracie are like, okay, like, let's go to the bathroom, then let's go. But then we got distracted.
We were like, well, all the drivers, practice is done. They're about to get out. Like, why don't we hang around for a second, see what happens? And then the two girls, Ella and Kira, that we saw in the pit lane.
Yeah, pit lane that mentioned my shirt.
Yeah, they were saying, they were like, oh, hey. And then one of them had on, like, a Marcus Armstrong shirt that she made herself. That was so cool, too.
It was such a cute shirt.
Yeah, and then we were saying there, we were just talking. I was like, oh, my God, I love your shirt. They're like, yeah. And we were like, oh, we're like, driver's, like, pretty, we don't know, we're still new. We're like, a driver's still, like, walking by. They're like, yeah, for sure. So we stood there for a minute. It started pouring rain. Kira was so nice. I was, like, standing next to her. She, like, put her umbrella over me. I was like, thank you so much. And then some drivers came by, and we just kind of watched it. And then we were like, okay, like, let's head out. Then we went home.
Well, I was going to say, we saw a lot of drivers walk by. Yeah. Like, we saw Marcus and Angela walk by.
Yeah.
We saw...
So seeing Angela, like, she's such a badass.
So cool. I was like one of those, like,
I was like starstruck by seeing her.
Yeah, no, like, it was like one of those situations where, like, don't judge someone because she was, like, so, like, petite.
Oh my God, yeah.
She could, like, take a bear in a fight, I swear to God. Like, she was ripped.
Oh my God, absolutely insane. Yeah, so we saw some drivers walk by.
Joseph Newgarden was, like, right behind us doing an interview. And
oh my gosh, that's right, he was.
Yeah.
And we, like, watched him walk out, we were like, whoa.
And then I forget if it was Kira or Ella, but one of their moms was with them.
Oh, yeah.
And she was a huge Scotty Mac fan,
She
which,
was.
again, later in the story, that comes back into play because we saw them at the podium, which, spoiler alert, Scotty Mac was on the podium. But she was like, where's Scotty? Where's Scotty?
Yeah, that was so funny.
But it was a good experience, and we came in, like, the main entrance, but then as we were walking out, I was doing some map knowledge in my head. Realized we literally parked right next to the entrance to the paddock without even realizing it.
Found an easy access to leave.
Which is great for later, but it was really easy to get out. Like, we literally got to our car. It was probably, like, from the exit of the paddock to my car, like, without even trying to park close.
Probably 5 minutes.
Not even.
Yeah, it was so close.
It was so close. It was awesome. We get home, exhausted. That's pretty much the end of the night there. Nothing else happened Friday night, really, right?
And then, no.
We went to Applebee's, but that's really not really.
Actually, our waitress was great.
She was an icon, I won't lie.
So Saturday, we stayed to watch Formula 1 qualifying, and then obviously there was a red flag there, so we got to the track a little late. Oh, so we should say, Friday night, our friend Lexi went to a restaurant. And at the restaurant, the NBC crew, like Georgia, James, and I'm totally blanking on the other person. They were there, and she's at that same restaurant, and she texted us, she was like, oh my gosh, Hinch is here. Should I offer to, like, buy them a drink? Like, ask my waitress. We're like, oh, do it. Like, absolutely do it. So she told her waitress.
Like, also, keep in mind, like, Lexi, she has, like, no fear.
Oh my god, no fear. She literally kept saying, I don't get embarrassed. I don't get embarrassed. And I was like, girl, I need to adopt that.
She's an inspiration.
Yeah.
Because, like, I would have also probably made the same joke, like, should I send them around on the table on me or whatever?
Yeah.
And if everyone been like, yeah, I'd be like, no. She was like, I did it. And we were like, what? Like,
so her waitress went and, like, told them that if they wanted a drink, it was, like, on her. And then they, like got, like, around on her. And then, I guess the next day.
Or, like, he, like, even, like, he looked over and, like, mouthed, like,
and, like,
thanks.
waved and said thanks.
And was like, are you going to the race? And I guess she, like pointed to her wristband and be like, yeah, I'll be there all weekend. He's like, awesome, kind of thing. So
then she, on Saturday, like, I guess had DM'd him and was like, oh, like, I was on the bought you the drink. Like, are you, like, at the track today or whatever? And he was like, oh, yeah, before qualifying, like, I'll be walking around the paddock all day. Like, if you see me, stop and say hi. I would, like, love to say hi and thank you in person. So then we get there, and she was like, I have to find him. And we were like, okay, girl.
We're like, let's split up.
So her and Sarah, like, went off. Celine and I, like, walked a bit, and then we were like, we're not going to find him. So we kind of, like, ventured a bit. We were, like, looking as we were walking around. And we meet up them again, and they're like, we met him. We were like, oh, like, that's so exciting. And she's like, he was so nice to know. And then we turned around, and she goes, he's right there. So then we went over, like, hey, can we get a quick picture?
I know, she goes, it was so cute. Like, she goes, I guess they mention it, but she goes, I found the other half of our group message. Can they also get a picture? And he's like, yeah.
He was so nice. And then what I loved, as he was leaving, I was like, oh, like, have a great rest of your weekend. Like, hope you have a good weekend tonight. And he looked at me, and he was like, thank you. Like, he was just, like, so, like, I don't know, he loved that I said that. Yes, thank you, genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. Very, very nice. And then we go back to the Honda tent. Well, actually, we just walked back over. I don't even know what you're doing. Oh, for qualifying.
What were we going? I think originally we were walking over for merch.
Oh, that's right. We went over, so we left the paddock, went back kind of to the infield area to get merch, and then we see the Honda tent is having another round of trivia. We're like, well, let's do it. So we get to the trivia. We're doing the trivia.
Well, actually, before the trivia started, we go up to the Honda tent, and the guy was like, he, like, remembered us.
Yeah.
And more specifically remembered Lexi, because, again, she was the one that was like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And he goes, there's another round of trivia, girls. Starts in 30 minutes. We were joking around. We're like, we're going to go do our research then. We'll see you later. And then we kind of leave, and we get food. I think we
didn't get food.
Oh, the boys got food.
The boys got food.
We should have got food, because
Yeah.
all I ate that day was a bagel until we left. But the boys got food, and we were hanging out, and we're like, let's go do trivia again. Like, we'll give it a shot kind of thing.
Oh, no, we went over, and we, like, got more sunscreen, like, freshening up, whatever. And we were actively studying. We were, studying on the Honda drivers, studying the Mid-Ohio history, like, when it started.
Like, we were like, we're going to win this
car.
We
were like, we're going to win.
One of us is going to win.
We also had fireball shots, so we all did a shot of fireball. We, like, opened up a new drink.
No, we were, I mean, out of the whole weekend, like, I drank some, but, like, I wasn't really, like, drunk at all the weekend, except the tipsiest that I was definitely during this trivia time.
It was funny. They kept also, like, when we were doing trivia, they were like, these girls know so much. Well, how do they know it? We were like, it's all in the high noon.
I know, they're like, what are they putting in those high noons?
They were so impressed with how much we knew.
No, and so there was, like, probably a group of, like, 5 of us girls that were doing it.
Yeah.
And then there was another 2 girls that we didn't know that were on, like, the other side of the circle. And then most of it was, like, just men.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. The girls absolutely crushed it.
The girls
like,
crushed it.
The girls, like, really held their own. Like, a lot of the guys, like, got out really quickly. And then the guys that were in definitely knew their stuff. But all of the girls that were in there, like, we were on it. Like, we were very, I don't know, I was, like, so, like, proud of us.
Yeah.
I was, like, we were even cheering on, like, the other 2 girls, like, on the other side of the circle. We're like, this is awesome. And they kept making, they're like, this is great. Like, they kept going, we're gonna need more questions.
No, they ran out of questions because we knew so much.
Did a whole nother round of questions because that was so, how good everyone was. I did get out on, me and Gracie got out on the same question. And it was embarrassing because I was wearing an RLL hat. And
the question was, when did Graham get his win at Mid-Ohio?
Yeah.
And I guessed 2014, and it was 2015.
I know. I guess 2018, I was like, I have no idea. Yeah. I don't know.
But Lexi made it pretty far. She was like Final 3, Final 4.
Final 3, I think.
Yeah. So then after that all finished, she had gotten out. And we were all kind of still talking to the, like, part of the Honda team.
Well, the question she got out on too, I will say, I did know.
Oh, I knew the answer.
And we were like, oh no, and we were just like crossing our fingers she would know it, and she didn't know it. It was really sad.
Yeah.
But so a guy ended up winning, which was very nice. He even
was so
congratulated
nice.
her or whatever. But afterwards, we were just like,
we were talking with the Honda people.
Again, we were like also a little tipsy at this point because we were like cheering and dancing near the whole trivia. Like everybody else was like silent, and like one of our friends would get an answer, or even one of the other girls on the other side would get the answer. Would be like, woohoo!
Yeah, they loved us.
Girl, woohoo! They were loving. I mean, we were drawing the crowd in over from the other tents. Like, we were doing some good PR for them, I think. But then afterwards, we were talking with the guy that was running the trivia. His name is Trevor. Shout out to Trevor, because he did follow us on the podcast. So if you're listening...
Hi, Trevor.
Hi, Trevor. Thank you for listening. We were talking with him, and we were asking, like, what race he goes to.
Like, what he does, how to get the job, everything.
Which was super awesome. And then, eventually, his other coworker, or some other guy with Honda, Kyle, came over. Again, shout out to Kyle, because he also followed us on Spotify. So if you're listening, thanks for listening.
Thank you. Hi, Kyle.
And we talked with them for quite a while.
Yeah, we did.
Honestly. And
Lexi turned out to be our manager.
Yeah.
In that moment, I wasn't even thinking. Like, my networking brain wasn't on, but she was like, okay, like, they have a podcast. You should follow their podcast. Like, if you ever want to do an interview, She was like,
yeah, she was literally
amazing.
Like, Trevor, you should totally be a guest on their podcast.
Yeah.
Like, all this stuff. And we were like, yes, we would love that. But we didn't even think to, like, ask, like, which we need to start doing. Like, we need some guests on our podcast. So we got
Trevor's business card. Trevor, if you're listening, we will be in contact.
We will be in contact, for sure.
And then we made jokes. We're like, well, if you happen to have another pace car, like, we'd love to go. Like, did I making the jokes?
Yeah.
And then, we kind of, we let them continue their jobs. We're like,
we did hold them up for a long time, I won't lie. Like, they were
really nice.
So you could tell they were, like, trying to, like, get back to work. We were like, all right, we can take a hit. Like, the guy that did end up winning also came up and was like, can I take your girls' picture with Trevor, like, with the guy?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I want to send it to my wife to see who was my biggest competition in the trivia. And we were like, yeah, sure. So we took a picture with them, and it was honestly, it was so fun. Again, every single person we met at Honda was so nice. They loved us. I'm not gonna lie, they did.
Then we go watch qualifying.
So yeah, we find a general admission. So the way that Mid-Ohio is set up is that it's general admission all day Friday, general admission all day Saturday, and then Sunday is either general admission or you can reserve a seat in the stands. So we did that. So Saturday was all general admission. So we found a field to sit in. That was like a really good spot, honestly.
It was a great spot to watch qualifying.
So we were sitting there in the field. We were having a great time. We were taking pictures. Like, we were in a really good spot where it was like an open field where we were sitting, but then we could also walk up
to the fence.
And to, like, stand at the fence, like right where the cars. We were so close. So we were sitting there.
We get a DM.
I get a DM. I look down. I read it. I go, what?
Well, okay, so Kyle and Trevor had followed Podium Pop too
on Instagram.
From the teams, and then and we get a DM, and Celine's reading it, and she goes, "Oh my gosh!" And I was like,
I was trying not to make a big deal out of it, and I look at it, and I go, because Gracie was talking with like Lexi,
and I was kind of
Sarah.
behind you.
Yeah, and I go, Gracie, just read this and don't freak out.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything out loud. Just read it. And it basically was a DM from Kyle just basically, he was so nice. He was like, we don't have any pace cars left, but we do have one opportunity available for a 2-seater ride available. Like, and he was like, we only have one. And I look at Gracie, and she looks at me, and I go, first of all, we could never decide between the two of us. Like, even if we did, like, rock, paper, scissors, drew from a hat, I don't know, like, I'll pay you this much. None of that. We would have been, like, I think it would have been so hard.
It would have been hard. We could have figured it out, but also, Kyle and Trevor would not have, like, followed us if it wasn't for Lexi being like, they have a podcast. Like, I wouldn't have even thought to bring it up.
They would not have even been able to DM us for this.
Yeah.
And so, like, we didn't even, like, really have to have a discussion about it. We, like, looked at it, and I was like, Lexi, she's like, Lexi.
Yeah.
And Lexi was, like, sitting next to us, like, staring at me, like, what are you all
what's
talking about?
Because you told me not to figure it out, but I still was like, and she's like, oh, is something wrong? What's going on? Like, what is going on? And then we were like, Lexi?
And I was like, I literally look at her and I'm like, Lexi, she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah. And she's like, yeah. And we're like, yeah.
I think we just handed her the phone, and we were like, read this. We want you to have it.
Yeah.
And then
she was
so thankful.
She was like, no, I couldn't. She was like, free. She was like, no. And we're like, yes, you have to do it.
She got them our information, and she also got furthest in the trivia.
Yeah, no, and yeah, honestly, she did deserve it.
Yeah.
She did so good at the trivia. She definitely had, like, so much more knowledge than we did anyway. She would have gotten far even if she didn't get that specific question.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, she definitely deserved it. Mm-hmm. And so I DM Kyle back, and I'm like, yes, like, we are so interested. Thank you so much. Me and Gracie, can't do it, but we'd love to get connected with Lexi, the girl that got further in the thing, and this is her phone number and all that stuff, right? And then we were walking up the hill, which the hill that we sat in was, like, behind the Honda tent. Mm-hmm. So we were walking back up the hill.
Oh my gosh.
And we hear over the microphone.
Over the microphone.
We weren't close to the Honda tent. Like, we were walking, like, kind of past it, but, like, we weren't close to it at all. We hear over the microphone, Podium Pop!
And Lexi and I were, like, walking ahead, and I was like, I turned around and ran back, and I said hi. And then he goes, Lexi! And I said, we're here. I was like, Lexi, come on.
Yeah, it was so funny.
And they just want to make sure we had, like, all the credentials. And then Kyle ended up giving her, like, a media pass so she could get in early if needed to. Because you had to get there at 7:15 a.m. Mm-hmm. And the track opened at 8, so he was like, or at 7. So he was like, here, take this so you can get in early, like, if you need to, whatever.
Yes.
So that was nice. And then talking to him again, hearing Podium Pop being shouted over the speakers.
It was really surreal.
And Celine was behind me, and I was like, did you hear that?
I know. No, Gracie was a little bit ahead because I was walking with some of our other friends, and I hear Podium Pop, and I look at my other friends, I'm like, I gotta run up there because I hear my podcast being shouted out on the microphone from the Honda tent. I gotta go. I literally was, like, sprinting up. I was like, I'm here too!
I was like, that's me! And then it's like people around, I was like, I'm Podium Pop. And they were like, okay.
Yeah, they were like, we really don't care.
I'm here to look at the cars.
Yeah. But no, it was awesome.
Then we did Indy Next signing.
We did Indy Next signing. We got to meet Jamie.
I would like to say Miles from the HMD team.
The
sweetest person ever. He was the very first person. So, for Indy Next, you did, like, a loop and you met all the drivers. Mm-hmm. He was the very first one. He was so nice. He, like, would sign. He like, you actually saw him sign the card, and then he wrote your name on every card.
He was like, what's your name?
So sweet.
Yeah. Even our other friend, Jazz, she was behind us, and he's like, what's your name? She's like, oh, my name is Jazz. And he was like, okay, like, and he asked her how to spell it, and she, like, spelled it for him. And then he, like, put 2 S's instead of 1. Mm-hmm. He's like, that's how you spell it. She's like, oh, well, it's 1 S. And he goes, oh, my God, let me make you another. She's like, no, it's okay. Like, he's like, I'm making you another one. And he was just so nice.
Yeah.
So genuine. He was, and all of them were,
they were so nice.
So, like, the IndyCar drivers were obviously very friendly and very nice. But, like, the Indy Next drivers were almost like they couldn't believe that there were people waiting in line to see him still. So they were like, thank you so much. Have a great day. Yeah. Like, thank you for coming.
It was moving a little slow, so we kept being like, oh, hey, how are you? Like, how's it going? Like, we were having conversations with all them.
Which, also keep in mind, like, we didn't really know all of the Indy Next drivers like we knew.
It's hard.
It's hard to know them all. And we didn't know, we knew some of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, we knew Jamie. That's who we were super excited to see. But, like, we knew a couple of them. Like, I knew, like, Louis Foster and all those names. But, they were so sweet.
Yeah, so
we
nice.
got all their signatures. Like, they were passing them out. It was also an awesome event.
When we got to Jamie, we were like, Jamie, can we take a picture really quick? She's like, yeah, of course. I also forgot she was British. So she started talking, and I was like, not actually, but in my head I was like, oh my God, that's right, she's British.
Yeah.
There was just a funny moment. We, like, took a selfie of me, you, and Lexi. Mm-hmm. Did you get a picture of just you and Jamie?
Yeah. Because
nice.
Jas wanted one.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
I took one of Jas and I was like, can I have one? She was like, yeah.
Yeah, Jamie was super nice. We were like, absolutely love everything they were doing. Obviously.
And it was hot on Saturday. So at this point, we do the signings, and then we do like a little of we look at like some of the shops a little bit, but we're like, okay, like their fireworks start at 9:30. Mm-hmm. Let's go home in between. So we go back to the Airbnb, like me and Gracie get dinner. We go to the store because we need some groceries. And then we go back to the fireworks. The fireworks was great. I mean, it wasn't like anything crazy. Like,
it was a fireworks show.
It was just a small fireworks show, but it was really like the vibes were right. Like, it was in a field and there were fireflies everywhere. Mm-hmm. And
we were sitting on a blanket.
The sunset was gorgeous. The sky was gorgeous.
It was like just like a bonding moment between friends. And like Jas was there, Lexi was there, Jas' boyfriend and brother.
Snacks. We had some drinks.
Like new friends we made. It was just like a wholesome moment. We're all sitting in a field watching fireworks because we love motorsport and cars.
No, yeah, we were like sitting there. We're like,
it was so cute.
A lot of these people we met Jas at a Formula One watch party like a couple of weeks ago. But like all these people, like we didn't know before. Like, even Ryan's two friends were there. We didn't know them before this weekend. And it was just like we were sitting there, like Jas had her little brother and her boyfriend were playing football in the field, and there were these two other little girls that like ran up to us because they had a matching outfit with Lexi, and they were so cute. It was just like such a wholesome moment. Like people were going around with like playing music, and it was just the vibes were immaculate.
It was great.
The fireworks show again was good. It was a fireworks show.
I had fun.
Yeah, and so we ended up leaving there at like 10ish, and going home and going right to sleep.
I couldn't fall asleep for the longest time. And so we had made a plan with Lexi. We were going to go with her, of course, to watch her do the 2-seater ride, which that was so cool. But we were like, we have to get up at 5:45 a.m.
Yes, because we had to be there at 7:15. Like, it started at 7:15. Yeah. We had to park.
We also, like, she went to the race by herself. We, like, wanted to be there for her so she had, like, friends. And, you know, she could have made more friends, but...
Yeah, I'm glad she, like, somehow found us.
I know, she's so good at just talking to people.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't have, like, had the courage to meet half of the drivers that we did. Like, even after the race, when we met a lot of the drivers, like, she wasn't with us, but I was like... What would Lexi do?
WWLTD.
WWLTD, yep. It's the catchphrase of the weekend.
Yeah. And we'll figure it out because we figured it out we
kept figuring it out.
So, oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so we woke up very early on Sunday. And surprisingly, we left at a pretty decent time. We, like, told ourselves we'd leave by 6:45. We didn't, but we left by, like, 7.
Yeah, I think so. We got there. Yeah, we left by like 7.
Because we were staying maybe like 15, 20 minutes away from the track, which for Mid-Ohio is really good because there's nothing near Mid-Ohio. It's like in the middle of the country, like literally in the middle of cornfields.
Like lucked out with our Airbnb so well.
Yeah. So we get there pretty early. We have some trouble finding parking. I'm gonna say if you do anything on race day, which we'll talk about a little bit more how bad traffic was to get in. But if you do anything on race day, is get there as early as possible because we got amazing parking. There was no one around us when we pulled in. We literally pulled in and we were parked in between like three different the same time that like the crew they were like Andretti workers like coming out of a van next to us, and we're like, oh,
morning.
We're there bright and
we watched her do a 2-seater. That was the coolest thing ever. There was like a whole bunch of people there. I think the like peoples, it was like Honda, Arrow McLaren, and IndyCar.
I also swear...
And I think you're right.
I swear Bobby Rahal was there. And I didn't say anything, and I regret not saying anything, especially because I washed and re-wore my I Heart Pietro shirt. And I had an RLL hat on. And I didn't say anything, but I didn't know for sure it was him or not. And so I didn't say anything. I regret it, but, you know, it's fine.
Bobby Rahal and his people... whoever he was with, they were wearing different race suits than
so they weren't part of like the IndyCar experience,
I
guess, or they weren't there with Honda, McLaren, or the IndyCar. Like those were the 3 categories of people that were there, and then it was randomly Bobby and 2 other people, and they were wearing 5-hour energy hats. It had to have been him
with Pietro's number on it.
On it, and I'm like, where can I get my hands on one of those hats? I need one of those hats.
Lexi said it was the coolest thing ever.
One day we'll be able to do it.
No, yeah, we will.
But you know what? We talk about it a lot, but it'll come back to us later.
Yeah.
And she really did deserve it.
Oh my gosh,
I'm glad she had fun.
So then we went back to the car to cool off because it was like still humid. It was like wet from the day before.
Hot, humid, and
muggy.
It was
gross. It was disgusting. So we went back to the car to cool off. We both bought energy drinks, so we drank them. And then we kind of walked around the paddock more. Mm-hmm. We were standing by, like, Dave's area a lot because we wanted to, see him, whatever. And before the race started.
Well, we watched... Oh, no. We watched the warm-up.
I completely forgot about that.
On, like, there was, like, observation, like, decks above the garages, so you could look out one side and in the garage, like, see them working on the cars, but the other side, like, looked over the pit, but you could see, like, over the pit, so you could actually see the track, where if you were in the pit, you couldn't really see the track from it. So we stood and watched warm-up on there, but we separated, because you went to one near David, and I went to the one near Andretti's. Andretti's cars were in ours. Yeah. And, so we do that, and we're watching, both of us separately found, I was with our friend Ryan and Sarah. She was with Lexi and some two other girls that they met. And we were both watching Silverstone on our phones as we were also watching the warm-up. So that was awesome. Silverstone was a whole other story.
We'll talk about it. Yeah. Lexi and I sat between... It was great for me. Marcus Armstrong and Dave's boxes were right next to each other, so perfect. So we sat there. There were also too many people around Pato, so we were like, we'll go down a bit.
Our observation deck was like kind of over right near Pato, so we got to see that as well.
There was like a little ledge, so we hopped up and sat on the ledge. It was cool to see both of them like put their helmets on, get ready, and get in the car for the warm up. That was really cool. And then I noticed the girls next to me were watching Silverstone. And I was like, "Oh, are you watching Silverstone?" They're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What's going on?" The girl that I met, we bonded over that how we loved Lando, and we had a trauma moment together.
Yeah, sad.
I cannot get over actually when we realized they put the softs on Lando. We were like,
"Oh my
what?"
gosh, I can't talk about it.
We were like screaming.
I can't. It was a whole deal.
Yeah.
But after warm up, we already planned on meeting them, but we got to meet up with Sarah Offie and Motorsport Mimi, which we met Mimi in Miami. We met Mimi in Miami. We were going to try to meet up with her at Indy 500, but the Indy 500 was chaotic.
Yeah, it was hard.
So it was impossible to meet up with her. But we were DMing Sarah already because we were going to go to her. She had a meet up on Saturday, and we were going to go, but that's when we got caught up at the Honda thing, and then we missed it. So we got to meet up with her. She made us these gorgeous bracelets. If you're only listening, it is the,
it's so cute.
Sickest, friendship bracelet ever. It's, so advanced.
She made,
flowers out of the beads,
Podium
tying.
Pop. She made Podium Pop specific bracelets for us.
Which is, the sweetest thing ever because,
so nice.
She, made these at home and prepared them.
She, took time out of her day to do this for us.
So sweet. She was very genuine. We filmed a TikTok with her.
Yeah,
Mimi,
that was fun.
Ella and Kira were also in the TikTok, and then me, Gracie, and Sarah were all in it. Yeah. It was just a really cool experience. So I'm so glad we got to meet them.
Yeah.
And then we got food because at this point I was like, Grace. I looked at Gracie at one point. I was like, I have to be sitting in the shade with food in my hand, or else I'm gonna topple over.
Sarah and I were like, okay, let's go get you food.
It was so hot.
It was actually
Sunday was definitely the hottest day, and I think there were just the least amount of clouds, and the humidity was so bad. It really wasn't the heat; it was the humidity was so bad from the weekend. I was like, I have to sit in the shade. So we went and got food.
Well, before that, when we were still with Mimi and Sarah and standing there, we were kind of standing by where the drivers would walk by, and I was wearing Marcus Armstrong's jersey, and he had walked by, and I saw him, and I waved. He was kind of he was walking quick. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, this is a good moment to meet them. Yeah. But there are people in my way, and then I was like, he's walking quick. This is not a good moment. He just got out from warm-up.
Yeah, you can always tell, if they're, walking on a mission, you don't want to, stop them.
Yeah, that's also, that I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, and then everybody's like, go meet him. And not actually, but, Sarah and me were Sarah was like, my husband was on his team last year. He's so nice. Just go. And I was like, he scares me. I cannot. He doesn't actually scare me. But I was like, in this moment, I just cannot. Which I also got our friend Ryan to be a Marcus Armstrong fan, so he had a jersey too, and then we looked at each other, we were like, we should have just gone.
Yes. Yeah, no. But then we do eventually we hang out for a little bit, and then we eventually get to our actual grandstands. We sit and watch the race. We'll have a more in-depth race recap probably on our next story. We don't really have time to go over it today.
Yeah, we're running out of time. So we sit down, we watch the driver's parade, we watch the race. We had already talked about if it was going to be a good top 3, we want to go to the podium.
Yeah.
And lap 55 happened. Alex Palou is, first of all, speeding through this track like a man on a mission. He is just amazing.
He's
freaking love Alex
driver,
Palou.
yeah.
But then it's lap 55. Pato gets ahead by undercutting Alex Palou. Insane moment, and we were like, okay, we're for sure. I was like, I missed out on Lando. I am going to this podium.
We were packing up our bags. Like, we're about to walk.
No, we were like, lap 69. We were packing up. We were going. It's 80 laps. So we pack up. We go. We are hustling. We are walking over there. We stop at one point because there's 2 podiums. There's like a Mid-Ohio podium that's been there probably for forever.
On the way, Lexi's like, I have to go to the bathroom real quick. So they stop, and Lexi's in the bathroom, and I look at Gracie. I'm like, you're such a faster walker than me. I'm going to go now. So I speed up to the podium, and there's like a smaller podium and a bigger podium, and the smaller podium looks like it's made for like some of the different races that are there.
Indy next went there, I believe.
And so I look at so many people. I asked 2 different security guards. I asked a random guy that was on like the pit, like some worker for Andretti. Like I just stopped and asked him, but I was like, which podium is it at? Is it at the one in the pit or is it the one in the paddock? And every single person told me the pit. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to the pit.
Yeah.
I get there are other people waiting. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm in the right spot. But I was like looking around. I was like, there's not a lot of people. But I call Gracie. I say, come to the pit. It's at this one. Luckily, when we were there, we did run into Sarah because she didn't sit in the stands with us. So I go, Sarah. She's like, oh my God, I'm so glad I found you. So we're sitting there. Gracie and Ryan come up.
We also, me, Ryan, and Lexi had the cutest moment because Lexi literally left to catch a flight, so we stood there to watch Pato win. I was like, we have to watch. He's going to win. We have to watch it together. So we all stood there on my phone, watching him win. She had to split around her car, and we split her in with the podium. Found it was the other podium. We ran there. We watched Pato's podium.
It was amazing.
Great. We ran into Kira and Ella again. We ran into Jess again. We were like, how did all of our friends all end up in one spot?
Yeah.
Like,
it was just such a full circle moment.
It was so wholesome. Mm-hmm. We were all there.
After
music,
the podium,
dancing.
It was an amazing podium experience. Go check out our TikTok because we do like a kind of recap of the podium. After the podium, we meet up again with Offie. We get to talk with her. We meet so many of the drivers after.
I was not expecting this. We were about to just walk out and leave, and then all of a sudden, Marcus Ericsson's walking past us.
Yeah, we see Alex Palou. We get a picture with him.
I forgot about that.
We run into Marcus Ericsson. We get a picture with him. Like, I was kind of hanging out by RLL because I wanted to meet Pietro again. But while I was waiting for Pietro, like, Christian comes out, so I have him sign my hat. And there was this guy that, like, had a sign where he was, like, standing basically at the exit of the pit. And he got basically every single driver that walked out, he had on, like, signed posters. So we go up to him. We're like, has Pietro left yet? I also asked Christian. I was like, is Pietro still in there? Christian goes, I think so. Like, he knew what I was there for. I had an I Heart Pietro shirt on. And they're like, we think he's still in there. So I'm determined. I'm like, Gracie, I'm waiting this out.
So we did.
Sure enough, he comes out. I show him my shirt again. He's really like, oh my God. I took another picture with him. Thankfully, this one, glasses on. Amazing experience. We leave, me and Gracie, like, eventually when we get to our car, we look at each other, we're like, that was the best weekend of our lives.
Oh, you talk about when we met Dave, too.
Oh, yeah, we met Dave.
Your picture?
And I was, like, shaking because at this point I was hovering by RLL, and so I had to kind of go out of my way to meet Dave, and I was scared I was also going to miss Pietro, so I was, like, I had my eyes over, like, at one way, so I was, like, trying to take a picture of me and Dave, and I was actually on time-lapse, so I didn't even take a picture, but he was so nice. I was like, oh, thank you. I was also, like, the 5th person in a row that asked for a picture, so I start walking away. And then he goes, and I go to Grace, I'm like, oh, I accidentally did a timeout, so I didn't get it. He goes, oh, you didn't get it? Come back. We'll do it again. I was like,
so
thank
nice.
you. It's so sweet. But
we have well and truly run out of time.
We were literally
sorry.
But you know what? At the end of the day, go check out our TikTok. There's so much content on it.
We'll yap about it more.
We'll yap about it more. Best experience of our life. Go to Mid-Ohio. Go to IndyCar races. Buy the tickets. Go follow us on social media.
We've already gotten friends to go to Nashville. We're going to Nashville.
We're going to go to St. Louis. It's going to be my birthday weekend in St. Louis. So if you want to meet up and celebrate my birthday with me, go with us. Amazing experience. I could talk for another 3 hours about this.
Turns out we could talk for a billion hours, but we are about to run out of time. So thank you so much for listening.
Sorry for the speed talking, but I'm actually really impressed with ourselves. So
yeah, that was amazing.
All right, bye.